That's good.
Margaritaville.
Now, a lot of people might not know this about you. You are not originally a comedian, and you didn't go to school for it.
No.
No, your background, you're actually like an engineer.
I was a civil engineer.
A civil engineer?
Yes. Very civil, very polite.
Which does what exactly? What is a civil engineer?
Well,
As an idiot.
my joke is that after your third bridge falls down, people begin to talk. I actually didn't build bridges. My first job out of college was designing sewage pump stations. I could calculate how many gallons of water it takes to flush a young man's dreams, which is sadly true. I did that for about a year. I worked at an oil refinery in their hazardous waste section. I could, they had a good dental plan, paid for the teeth. I began sprouting out of my forearm. Might have been some problems over there. Actually, what I was trying to do was to keep the refinery from smelling, which is a very big job if you've driven past refineries.
So you worked for refineries and sewage treatment plants.
Correct.
And you left that glamorous life.
And I left that.
Why?
Well, I thought, because I'd always wanted to be an environmentalist, help the planet. And
I think sewage treatment counts as helping.
It definitely does, but it wasn't. I wanted something sexier,
Sexier than sewage treatment.
Maybe helping animals, furry animals. I was confused. So
what
I thought,
about the animals that get caught in the filters at sewage treatment plants?
Well, they're beyond help. It's too late for them, and that's a sad thing.
Yeah, with that attitude, it is too late, Jeff.
Chris, no, see, this is the attitude that we would run into at the sewage treatment plant. This kind of naysaying and snark, and nobody wants that.
Well, let me ask you.
And
this.
if you're not careful, you'll end up in the grate.
Do you ever miss it? No. Not in the least.
No, I mean it was a good payday for that age. I mean, but when you're crushingly unhappy for all those hours a day at the job, you can't really enjoy the salary.
You know what actually helps? I find if you push through that for 2 or 3 years, eventually you just kind of become dead to the world.
So I quit too soon before the numbness came?
You could have. It's like you're running. Do you go running much or outside? Like you run for a few miles.
Why do you say it skeptically
really
with that look?
You have engineer's legs. If you're running and then you get past like the 4th mile, all of a sudden
the runner's high.
I think it's more that the nerve damage gets to be so great that you no longer feel pain, and then you coast through it, and after that you've run 100 miles through.
I gave up too soon, I guess.
And that's it.
I thought maybe grad school is the answer, maybe more student loans.
Yes.
So.
And how much of your student loans are you still paying off?
I looked at it the other day. $64.50.
$64.50.
No. The other way with the comma in there. Yeah.
Huh. That's not so bad. 20 years out. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there were a few years where I kind of just dropped off the grid. And
now, when you're signing those checks, do you ever wish that you were still using your vast civil engineering knowledge, or was that the?
I wish I was using that.
I mean, if you're
knowledge.
like driving down the highway, like you can drive. I think it's the if you're driving down 295, sometimes you go past sort of sewage treatment taps.
Oh yeah,
and
the
you
blue
can smell
plains.
it. Yeah, it hits you as you're driving.
Do I get the fever?
Do you ever feel like I could fix this? Because
no, because I was no good. I wasn't even good at that.
You were not good at all.
No, I was terrible.
Wow.
I was wasting my employer's money. That's another thing. When you're disappointing. I think he thought because I went to Johns Hopkins. Well, surely he must be good. Well, you are incorrect, sir. I was no good at all.
Now, when you just tell people that you were an engineer, is there a certain degree of expectation that people expect you to be handy or good around the house or anything like that? And is any of that remotely true?
No.
No.
Computers, I had to call the tech support guy recently and get some help, and he starts asking me questions, as if, what kind of operating system do you have? Electricity, I think. I've been plugging in my wall, and I've been having some luck with that. I called you, remember? I just want to know why the printer sucks in 40 sheets at a time. Well, I went to grad school, and I did 2 years towards that, and then they began expecting the thesis, and that...
I like you say when you make like, I did 2 years, like you were in prison, as opposed to I went to grad school for 2 years.
And I soaked up the knowledge like a sponge? No. It was definitely interesting, but I found my math skills were well behind some of the others.
What about if you're just out at a restaurant? Do people expect you to figure out the tip because
I can do that level
the
of
math skills?
Yeah, no, I still got that.
You use the cell phone calculator?
No.
No.
Oh no, it's
all
all
up here.
It's,
yeah.
It's a gift. It's a knack.
Yeah. Show off.